Now hold
Yeah.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Because I saw some of those pages posted on Twitter, and I saw that one specifically. How are you going to come to him in a time of crisis where he's helping all these other people and be like, "Oh, I need to talk"? You were going to get ignored regardless. That's not fair.
Like
This is
you
not the
gonna get
time for that.
the Looks like you gonna get the thumbs down too.
Like, come on now. Like, don't come on. When you see like what's going on, this man is going around judging people. These things are attacking us. These giant monsters are popping out of the ocean. Humans are picketing at our fence, and you coming up to me all sad, like I need to talk. You gotta wait an hour. I'm sorry.
That's his son.
Who's actually dead? Because Uranus killed him too.
Definitely getting the thumbs down. You are definitely not passing your judgment.
It's just like, come on now. If anything, actually, I'm pretty sure Xavier knew that that wasn't the real David, and he like,
All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of another relaunch. We are your hosts. I am Mr. Wendell Vaughn Quasar. I wanted to give some love to one of my favorite cosmic characters out there because he get no love right now.
I always forget that you love Quasar. I think that is so interesting.
He's cool. He's got probably
Okay,
my favorite power set.
he does. That actually makes a lot of sense. Then, yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am the famed vampire hunter Blade, Eric Brooks, if you
Oh
know his real name.
yes.
Most people don't
This is the first time I heard
though.
it. I did not know that. What's his name?
Yeah.
I didn't
Hey,
know what his name was actually.
you thought it was
I was
Blade.
called Blade.
Yeah, I
He
get
never
it.
sticks around long enough to tell you. So like,
He doesn't. That is true, and I wouldn't recommend reading his solo books because they're not good. Except the old ones weren't good. I think a lot of the stuff that he's gotten more in recent years, like that Death of Doctor Strange tie-in, was very good. I think his guest appearances in Mighty Avengers was good, but again, that was one of those instances where he was there for the first arc and then he left. I think he's good in Aaron's Avengers. Um, so we're moving up.
we're moving up. It's giving it something. He probably just needs to have his own solo. And he's in
Yeah, I
development.
mean,
I'll, I'll,
he is, and like he's got a movie coming out, so I think if there is going to be a solo, it'll be
gotta
here
be having a
sometime
movie
soon.
coming out.
Yeah, I know because we didn't get any news about it at D23.
Yeah, well, get a lot of news at all. It did. So
Yeah, we did not. Wow, it was giving DC
honestly,
fandom.
there's so much content that like they can't like start releasing content for the next thing because it's gonna crowd what's currently out a lot.
But you're like getting people so hyped for these movies that aren't coming out for like another like 3 or 4 years, which is like fine. I understand it. You got to do what you got to do. But I feel like for some of these things, so Blade starts filming next month, I believe now. It's been pushed back however many times. You could have given me a little bit of a story preview, like maybe brought a few more actors out. You had excuse me, Anthony Mackie and the cast of the new Captain America movie and given like a new name and just like saying nothing. You could have did that for Blade. He
That's right.
deserves a
They
little
didn't
hype.
say anything, but you could have done that.
Exactly. So whatever. Next year, I guess.
Show some concept art or something.
Have him come out with some sunglasses on. You'd be like, ooh, that would
Ooh,
have set the internet ablaze. Okay, like let's be
yeah.
real. Like you had to do the bare minimum. You just had to remind people, like, yes, this exists. This is the thing. You didn't even want to do that. I see where this promotion is going, and I'm getting mad about it. But we won't start
It'll come back around. How are you? Let's start
there.
there.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've been having a very good weekend. It's nice in the district. The weather. I finally got my allergy medicine again, so like we're good there. It's good. How are you?
I'm good. Recently it's been one of my friend Jarrell's birthday. Happy birthday, Jarrell. And
Happy birthday, Jarrell.
it is his 29th birthday. So before he turns 30, he wanted to have a kid's birthday party.
Okay.
So everyone had to dress up like we're back in middle school and kids.
Oh, that's cute actually.
It was a lot of fun. I dressed up. I could have went boy, but I went like a little girl. So I wore like a
Yeah.
cami, did my hair in pigtails. It was really cute. There were goodie bags and like for food he
Mm.
had. He was like, "Oh, what am I gonna do for food?" He was gonna order like a service, but my friend was like, "No, you gotta go like a real thing." So he ordered Papa John's pizza and got
Period.
a pepperoni, a sausage, and a cheese, and then had the
Oh,
sodas out, but it was only like a Sprite, a Coke, a Diet
Coke.
Coke, and
You
an
get the
orange.
basics. Like this is what it is. No deviations. Get one. You start out with one slice, then come back and get your second. Like, yeah.
Exactly. It was square cut. It was
Hmm.
really cute. It was really cute. Such a throwback.
That sounds
But all
fun.
the music from middle school was playing, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's the middle school has some hits.
didn't it? Songs we should not have been listening to,
You
but
know, it's
they were
so
good.
crazy. I was like out one day and 112 Anywhere came on. And I was telling the person, I was like, this was my favorite song when I was a kid. Like, they just looked at me. They were like, "This song, talking about like having sex anywhere." I was like, "Yes." I was like, I don't know how old I was in middle school, something like that. I don't even think I was in middle school. I might have been younger, but regardless, I was like, I would be singing at the top of my lungs, getting in trouble every single time. But I was like, you could not
I
tell me
could
that
have
this
you in the
wasn't it.
shower, both of our bodies
Body
dripping wet
dripping wet
on the
in the
patio.
patio. We make like
Making
everything, like
it's
every single
nasty. This song
time.
is
It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting, but it was like my favorite song. And I was like, we should not have been listening to these things as kids. And it's
it
like,
was a hit.
wow,
112
can't
had
make the
hits
hit.
though. Peaches and cream.
112 is my favorite group, but I was also saying that I was like 112 was like my favorite group when I was growing up. Like I had all of their albums I used to listen to, but I was like, I think it's because all of their songs were nasty.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, it was nasty, but they also sounded really good. Like was the Kings. I stand, still do to this day. Actually, if they got
Was that
back
a
together,
precursor for you?
uh, moving on.
Because
What's the
Louis,
updates of the week?
All right, let's go ahead and get into the updates of the week. There were this December Solicits that came out recently, and not too much hype going on over at DC. Um, but some stuff
That's
that I
such a
wanted to kind
shady
of talk
thing to
about.
say.
I just didn't see too many things that popped out. Like I wasn't giving away like a lot,
Okay.
you know. So there was Action Comics 1050 will be coming out. It'll be an extra large issue, and it'll be the return of Kal-El Superman to Earth. And we have been talking about currently. He's been dealing with War World, and the Justice League is also dead right now. But
Yeah.
it looks like in December with 1050, he will be returning back to Earth. And of course, his first big battle will be a big Lex Luthor thing. But I'm sure it'll be updated and kind
I
of
don't know if
retreat.
I'm going to stick with Action Comics. I'm not going to lie to you.
Really?
Like it might
They
move
got
to
me. They got
a.
me.
I think it might move to a DC Infinite thing. I don't know what it is. It's like something, especially since we've been in these last few issues of War World. I still enjoy it, but you remember how I was when I first started reading Action Comics. Like it
Yes.
was, it was like yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't hold the same punch for me, and I've been kind of thinking about it. I'm wondering if it's more so the guest stars are carrying it for me, like those early issues. The Justice League was appearing, Aquaman was in there, him and Superman was getting into it. And then the Authority came in and they were acting as another group. I love Natasha Irons, I love Midnighter, and all of that kind of stuff. And so as we approach 1050 and like Clark coming back, I'm thinking like, oh, are these people going to be gone? Do I really care to see him fight Lex Luthor? But I do also still like Steel. I do like Supergirl, and I think I see that Keenan Kong, the Superman of China, is going to be coming to help out too. So maybe I will
Yes.
stick around.
He's been kind of around currently. Um,
I still
I
think Mr.
think
Miracle
that
needs to join.
the one you like, what's his name?
Shiloh. I do. I'm
Shiloh.
going to. I'm going to promote that until it happens. I don't know. what's saying about anything else. But like, that's just something I'm going to keep saying. It just needs to
Get
happen.
Shiloh in there.
I just feel like it fits. It's right. It's the energy I want. I don't know.
There was also the final issue, I believe, the seventh issue of Dark Crisis, which looks like the multiverse will be coming back, and I thought it all had already came back.
I'm over DC in the multiverse now. It's like you need to let it go. The people don't care. Stop pushing it on us. Like the people do not care at this point. Just let us read the stories about our heroes. We do not care.
hmm I think
If
at
I
this
gotta
point we've all accepted that DC continuity is what it is. Just tell the stories.
just tell the story. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you want to write something in the multiverse, write something in the multiverse. Who's stopping you? That's what
Mhm.
you got Earth 2 books for. Whatever. They see
Well,
the
now I think they're
multiverse was
trying to
just
like
thing.
legitimize it.
Yeah, that's what they did with Infinite Frontier, wasn't it? And the metal events.
I missed out on Metal. I didn't read that,
I
but
mean,
I do
I
remember
have
Infinite Frontier. But I thought that was like I don't know if that was like it was like kind of dipping your toes into the multiverse. It wasn't like
so now we've jumped
now
into
we
it.
like fully here, yeah.
Now we're in the pool. Okay.
Yeah. I think now they're trying to say like we officially here.
Okay. Well, I just want to read about Aquaman. So I need them to do something about that. And Yara. That's my sister.
I wonder what they're gonna do with Aquaman. Actually, if they're gonna.
I will
I'm
say that
assuming all the Justice League are gonna come back out.
mhm,
Um,
and
in the
Zatanna
books.
too. I will say that Aquaman does consistently get books, so like I am not worried in any sense that like that's not going to happen sometime soon. But I'm just excited to see that family again and like kind of what it's going to look like, especially in terms of Jackson. I
Yeah.
read a lot of Arthur.
I
Love
doubt
him.
that they ever changed him from being Aquaman. Like he is.
I know, right? It fits. He
You
did that.
got that one.
We'll see him in June. So
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, he'll always have pride.
see him
Um.
there.
All right. Switching over into Marvel. There were a few things that I wanted to bring up from their December solicits, such as Dark Web. So the Dark Web event will be happening with Chasm, as it's called now, Ben Riley, and Madeline Pryor. I think she's going by Goblin Queen.
I mean, I think she does both. Maybe Goblin Queen is her mutant name.
Is she a mutant?
She's a
I
clone
feel
of
like the
Jean.
jury's still out on that one.
I feel like yes.
I thought she couldn't walk through the gates because, like,
Then can she? Is that a thing?
yeah, in Hellion, she was like, "Oh, my plan is to attack Krakoa, but like I can't walk through the gates, so I'm gonna like send."
I thought she was just mad she wasn't invited.
But she couldn't go.
I don't know. She was on the island. They brought her back.
I don't see it. I don't see it for that lady, so I don't really care. But
I don't
she's
really
got an event
either,
coming out now with her
which is
and
crazy to me. It's
Nova.
kind of crazy to me that Maddie has been dead all of this time, and like she's back now, and she's getting an event.
You know what? Let's talk about it. Let's pull over for a second. I personally feel like that is a perfect example of how characters will be elevated if the writer likes them.
Mhm.
So like I think a lot of people always wonder like, oh, well, where's my favorite character? Why aren't they in this book? Or blah blah blah. I think some of it is I think it's like threefold. I think some of it is just the story that's being told. I think that
Mhm.
the other part could be like mandates from, the corporate publisher themselves. Or honestly, it's the pitches from the writers.
Mhm.
The favorites that you like aren't being used because the writers aren't pitching to use them. But like Wells obviously is a fan of Madeline Pryor and he's currently writing Spider Man. So there you go.
I don't know. I'm not going to read Dark Web, so I'm going to read the X-Men tie-in issues because
Mm.
if the main book ties into it, no, not because Jean, but mostly because I'm reading the X-Men book. Okay,
Ah, and the
but
other girl, Firestar, gonna be in it, right?
yeah, but if the other like stuff doesn't happen, personally in the whole Maddie and Jean thing, I'm actually on Jean's side.
Oh yeah, same.
But when it comes to
I'm also
Cyclops and Maddie, I'm on
anti-clone
Maddie's
also.
side. Yeah, I don't really like clones either. And Maddie is just kind of like, I don't really need her. I don't get the appeal anymore.
Ben Riley tried to carve out his own lane. I don't really know if he needs to be a
I
villain.
don't know who Ben Riley is. So that's not pulling me in either. I'm like literally, I have never heard the name Ben Riley in my entire life before hearing about this event.
You have seen Spider-Man with that blue hoodie on. That's Ben Riley.
Spider-Man
I
with a
know
blue
you've
hoodie?
seen. Yes, Spider-Man with that blue hoodie.
I don't know what that is.
Wow, wow.
I can't.
I know you know. So anyway,
Hold
let's move
on.
on.
I'm about to Google him. You could go ahead,
Yes,
move on. I'm still gonna Google him.
let's move on. Anyway, there's also Iron Man #1 coming out, which is a new run for the series, which will be written by Jerry Duggan and Juan Frigeri. I won't be going through all of the major solicits here. I'm just gonna kind of rattle them off.
I just thought this
Miles
was
Morales.
Spider-Man in a blue hoodie.
No, that is Ben Riley. You see the picture now?
I feel like I've seen this in one of the Spider-Man cartoons.
That was Ben
This suit.
Riley. Or they were probably trying to do like an Easter egg to that suit.
I honestly think I just made that up. I don't even know if I've seen this before. Cause like I just
You have
Googled
to.
it in the Superman cartoon and I'm like, this doesn't look familiar either. I don't know. I'm not gonna find out. It doesn't matter. Go ahead. What were you
You
saying?
know who Ben Riley is. So there, I'm not gonna go through all of the solicits, but I will just kind of rattle some off. Iron Man #1 coming out with by Jerry Dugan and Ron Jerry. There is Miles Morales #1, Miles Morales Spider-Man #1, to be written by Cody Ziegler and Federico Besentini. Be on art.
Oh, I like his art.
Also, yeah, me too. That's really cool. And I know that Cody Ziegler, I think, Miles stuff recently. Whatever. So I think that's cool that he's on.
Mhm.
Um, Monica Rambeau, Photon #1 will be coming out in December as well, but it's one of five. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1, which is also one of five, will be coming out in December.
Support,
Um,
support.
support again because those books, you never know if the sells well, it could be pushed beyond those five. Also, we recently talked about Murder World and
Yeah.
Arcade having Murder World Avengers. Murder World Spider-Man comes out in December. So I think there is like everybody going to go to Murder World and deal with that. So I think that's kind of cool. I hope the X-Men go. Wait,
Yeah.
I don't. Never mind. I don't. Because if they go, it's going to be the
um,
current team. But I don't
yeah.
want that. Never mind.
Year two is taking it. I'm sorry.
Anywho, there is also Secret Invasion #2, which I thought any of the Maria Hill fans out there,
Yes,
she has
we
this
are
movie going
here.
on. Yes. I assumed obviously this will be a tie-in because of the MCU,
The
which
movie.
they have got to like start being more honest about the fact that the MCU really dictates where these characters are showing up.
So I'm not mad at this one because I love all of these characters. I like Maria Hill. I like Nick Fury Jr. I feel like Daisy and Yo-Yo and the Secret Warriors and them might pop up in here. So it's like this is my time. I also think they're going to show up in the show, which is like, yeah,
You think so? You think they're bringing the Agents of Shield into
yeah,
this?
yes.
I
Final
was
answer.
close the whole time.
I think they might make one or two of them. Oh, I hope it's not Mac. Oh, he was so
Was
good.
he the final one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only know two characters on that show, and they were the two firemen. I
Yeah,
don't know who
and
they played with them.
I always think Mac was like an interesting case because when his character first came on the show, like I did not enjoy him at all. But I think the way they developed him and like he eventually became Coulson and like in charge of the entire group, and it was just like the way they
How could
moved
you
him
not like
up.
him? Big.
He was kind of anyway. The point is, by the end, he was great. I don't think he has a comic counterpart. I don't know. You know, they released like an Agents of Shield comic book a few years later after the show, and some of the characters from the show were in the comic or like finally made their comic appearance. I don't know if he was one of them. Might have to go back and look that up.
That's a good question because I remember they were trying to like use Marvel characters to cameo in that book, right? Like they were trying to
Yeah,
like really solidify those characters as being a part of 616. I don't know. He should.
Yeah.
Oh man. Also coming out in December, the Scarlet Witch solo written by Steve Orlando and art by Sarah Pacelli, and I'm sure all of the fans of Scarlet Witch are excited for her to get her solo series.
Not
I'm
the.
not sure if this is going to put it as one. So
We'll see. I'm gonna read it. I can be like hot and cold on Orlando, but he wrote a Darkhold mini like a few months back, and the Omega issue with Wanda I thought was actually really nice. Where she like
okay.
finally defeated Cthulhu and like had her moment, and obviously they've like moved her into a space of being the Redeemer, Koa, and people like
Is
her
that
again.
when she absorbed him? Like she was like, "You don't possess me, I possess you." They love that
Yes,
panel. I've seen that a lot.
yeah, child. That's their when Jean is walking out of the thing to Null and
Oh
King and
yeah.
Black. That's the page for Wanda fans.
Yes, it's the same thing. That's how they love that page.
They love it. Um, so I don't know. I think that would be interesting. Good for Wanda. I like Wanda. I'm gonna read it.
Me too. I like Wanda, so I'll
Pacelli,
read it.
Pacelli on art is a win for her. Congrats.
For sure. Of her art. And Magic fans have been begging for more Magic characters to be getting the spotlight. So shout out to them for getting this.
Oh, I thought you meant like Ileana. I was like, what she got to do with magic? Uh,
No, I meant like
but I think Magic is on like the rise right now at Marvel. When you have Strange Academy, I think that's been going pretty strong, and the sequel for the book has been announced. Kalia has obviously been doing the dang thing over in Strange. Ileana, speaking of, finally decided to embrace magic, and that's something that she's going to be doing. You have Midnight Suns, which came out this. We're going to talk about that later, and then Blade has his moment. So I think slowly but surely they're coming up. There's a couple of characters who are going to like be the backbone of it. I feel like, and we'll branch out from there.
and I really do think that this is the MCU. I have seen in that recent interview by JD White,
Hmm.
um, he had an interview where they asked him about like the impact of the MCU, and he was very honest about it, where he said that they don't they don't meet regularly where it's like, well, tell us what you guys are doing and write this. He did say though that like they'll come and be like, do whatever you guys want to do so that like in the future it's something that we can adapt. Like
Yeah.
there obviously is like some kind of, oh, we do want to do something where it could be adapted into the MCU.
Yeah, and then I feel like magic is the next logical place for them to go. Obviously, they're about to get into like the big multiverse stuff, and then what comes after space? Magic.
Yeah.
And even some of the X books, like they're doing magic stuff too. Again, Ileana, Richter is a druid, Excalibur's in the fantasy land of Otherworld. Um, they're building to something nice.
Initiative, magic user thing. I would love one for the space. It's been quiet up there.
Space needs one for sure.
Yes.
The Guardians can. The Guardians will carry that on their back, and even Star Lord, he's kind of moved over to being a magic girl too. So,
Yeah, he is with a little magic gun and he does sexual stuff. So like, he's
period.
got other things he wants to
Oh,
do.
I miss him so much.
The Guardians is such a hot and cold book for me because I don't like the team. I just want, but I like the idea when they became a bigger, like Guardians of the Galaxy. We are like a collective of people.
Honestly, I think the brand became a little oversaturated. To like be perfectly real, I think especially when the movies came out, it felt like there was a consistent Guardians title for like a few years now, and it really did always feature a variation of the same five people from the movies. But it was just like back to back to back to back to back. It wasn't sticking, but they were just throwing it back at you anyway. And it was kind of like, okay, we need a break. I think this is the first time since the most recent series has been canceled that we haven't been reading about them.
Yeah, but like we know, their movie's coming up, so there will be a relaunch soon. But I wonder if
Yeah.
it'll be. Is this the last MCU Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I wonder if
Oh,
it'll
I
be
hope
like.
so.
No, it is. I know it is. This
Uh,
Gunn said that this was the last one. That he said this is the last his last Guardians movie and the last version of this team. So like I wonder if the comic book that comes out will just say, "Oh, we're not even going to follow the MCU, whatever we want to do," because
Mm,
the movie's ending.
I don't know.
And
I think it'll be the same.
yeah, you're probably right. I'm being naive. All right, y'all. Well, those were the updates of the week. Let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come right back.
Cool. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review. This was kind of an unprecedented week for me. I only had two books.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I think there's a lot of your fave books like have wrapped up. I told you it feels like things are winding down because they're gonna like do a
Restructure.
big thing. I mean, I
Oh,
just talked about all those new number ones coming December.
mm,
So,
you did say
and I
that.
think I made a mistake. Wanda's book does not come out in December. It actually comes out in January.
Starting off the year with a little magic. I see the vision. Okay, well, luckily, I mean, we did still have like a nice little list of books here for this week. First up on the list is one that I did not read, but you are very familiar with Captain Marvel number 41 from Kelly Thompson, and Juan Frigeri's doing the art for this.
Yes, he is, as well as Alvaro Lopez. There's like, oh, they go to
Alternated.
different planets and stuff. Like they alternate.
Okay.
Um, and I know I keep saying it, and I won't stay long then because it's just another great issue. Although I did have a little bit of a complications with it. Let's talk about that for a bit. Last issue we saw the end of the Magic Tribunal. We saw Carol like go through these simulations where she had to fight a dragon. She was killing it, but then she stopped killing it. She ended up breaking herself out of it with the help of Wanda implanting stuff with her to believe in herself. And when she got back, Enchantress turned that little girl, her friend Lieutenant Trouble, like looks
Mhm.
up to Carol into a dragon for Carol to fight. And of course, when she
Mhm.
gets there, the dragon is like stomping out through the city and blasting her. Carol makes this really cool like photon sword and throws it at the dragon. The dragon gets really hurt. Um, she ends up catching up with Binary, Spider Woman, and her sister, the
Mhm.
current accuser, and they're like, we need to stop this dragon from terrorizing the city. Like, we need to save all these people. They go through, try to stop the dragon. The dragon is pretty much running all this destruction. And Spider Woman's like, why don't you just go kill the dragon? And Carol's like, I'm trying something new and like not always punch things first. Like, I don't want to do that. So she was like, you guys handle the civilians. Let me go handle this dragon. She goes to the dragon. It like scorches her, and Carol's like, "No, I yield. Like I just want to talk. I don't want to like try to hurt you." And we
Mhm.
get a flashback to the Magic Council, and Wanda goes, "I rest my fucking case." Like, hello, she is like she is doing what we all wanted her to do. We wanted her to go through this trial to see if she was going to stop punching and killing things first, and look at what she's doing. Um, and they have this really cool. Do you know that meme of Will Smith and he's pointing to like I think he's pointing to Jada, and he's like,
Oh, and he's like showcasing
"What
her
her?"
outfit. Yeah.
Yes, Wanda does that when to the like the screen of Carol, which I thought
Oh.
was a cool little nod. Also, she does bring up the fact that Agatha was like, "We have noticed that she is the right person to be Captain Marvel, but do you really trust her to do it? Who knows if she'll backslide from and being more aggressive." And Wanda's like, I wasn't always the best friend to Carol. I have made mistakes with her that I can never take back, and that lesser people would never could have forgiven me for. And what she's talking about is when Carol was raped back in Avengers 200 when she was taken off by Marcus. Wanda was one of the people who would like kind of just let that happen. And
Mhm.
after that, when when Carol was with the X-Men and the Avengers came to come and check up on her and Carol kind of like read all of them. Wanda was again there, and she said, I thought you were in love with him, and Carol was like, you didn't even check, like nobody like
Yeah,
worried
I
about
remember
me.
that. Carol with the X-Men was a time.
Yes. So I did appreciate the fact that she brought that back up, and she said, I wasn't a good friend to her, but Carol's like superheroics and the trueness of her heart has never changed. So I do trust her. So I thought that was a really nice moment. I like Carol and Wanda. Then Lieutenant Trouble ends up turning back into her little gore form. Enchantress shows up and she's like, Carol's like, why did you do this? Like, I don't appreciate you like making my friend, this little girl, a dragon for me to like fight. Like, I get your point. Like, you made your point. I'm not a dragon killer. And I'm sorry for your kid. And that's literally what she says. She balls up her fist like she's about to blast her in the face. Carol does. And she looks at her and she's like, Amora, I'm sorry. Like, I apologize for what happened with your kid. She was like, what? She's like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to fight you. I apologize for going after Ove and taking his powers from him, the magic powers from him. And of course, Amora's like, I don't believe you. And like, that was my son. He was not like this bad monster. And she was like, you can read my mind and see what happened in the future.
Yes,
And
she
she
can.
did. She read her mind and she saw what happened. And she was like, wow, I didn't know that was the truth. And then she like teleported away and she was like, this isn't over. And yes.
Enchantress defeats be so like simple. And it's always genuinely her just leaving and saying this isn't over. She's just like, you just do like one little thing and it's just like, okay, well I'm gonna leave now, but it's not over. And it's just like, what happened?
Well, I think that's how you usually defeat most magic users, right? I think magic isn't.
No, that's
It
not
doesn't
how
work against like honesty. Like once you're honest to a magic user, doesn't
what
that
else do
always
you got?
break the spell?
Like,
Like,
well,
oh yes, I broke the spell because I was honest. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
that's good. I mean, that
so
sounds like a good arc, though. Shout out to Carol for learning a little, having a little growth moment, and not punching
you
everything
know, I
first.
I feel like she gets that like hard headed thing a lot, and people talk about like, oh, I wish she would learn from her mistakes and all of that,
Hmm.
and it's
Here she
literally
is
what she's
doing
doing
it.
right now. Yeah. So shout out to Kelly Thompson for like not being
Mhm.
afraid to show Carol's flaws and to
Yeah.
have her like grow as a character.
The rebrand
So
for her has been strong. I will say, like, I know a lot of people, and they talk about this book, and they say that it is really good, and they're like really enjoying it, and they really enjoy Carol. And I think a lot of people, everybody knows I'm not a huge Carol fan, but like I've read Carol stories, I kind of know what goes on. I get the personality. We just don't click. I think a lot of people hold on to hate for Carol from like Civil War II, and
yeah.
to this day they don't have a real reason to dislike her. And I think that if you're going to like not even give her the chance, like it's a Kelly Thompson book. You, especially for people who know they like Kelly Thompson, you like Kelly Thompson. You know she's gonna write something good. You probably like Carol because she has cool powers, not you per se, but like anybody else. Like she has good powers. She's strong. She flies. She does. You like Rogue. Why wouldn't you like Carol?
Right. I don't know. But I don't know. I really don't. It really doesn't baffles me. But whatever. That's not my fight. Um, so after the end of this, she leaves. Hazmat is really cool because earlier in the issue she was eating top and she was like, I don't even want to fight nobody right now. But Spider-Man was like, suit up, like we gotta go fight. But she showed up late after the fight was already over because like you said, Enchantress was like just kind of walked away. So Hazmat was like, damn, I suited up, like I was ready. Um, so after that fight, Binary is like, I need to go off and figure out who I am. And Carol is like, that would be great for you. I'll always be here for you if you need me. Like, here's a communicator for you to find me. And she just kind of flies off. Now, I personally didn't necessarily like that moment because it feels like Carol created a new character. Yes, it was through like comic book MacGuffin kind of stuff because the Phoenix Force was involved and was this new ability of hers, but she can kind of project her full time energy on the outside of her body instead of just with blast. And then the blast mixed in with Phoenix Force energy also on the planet Bell was. So I know that she was made through like comic book means or whatever, but if she can do that once, like who's to say it couldn't happen again? But With the solicit that's coming out in December, which shout out to Kelly Thompson for in Captain Marvel 44, it looks like there's going to be some kind of signal that comes from both Rogue and Binary, and they need to go and like rescue her. And she rescues, she calls up the X-Men to come and help her. So, and that includes Polaris on the team. So shout out to our girl being making it on into Captain Marvel. I'm really excited for that for obvious reasons. But in that solicit, it looks like Binary's going to be coming back around. So I'm not sure if they'll be having like their merge moment. And because I truly think that costume is too hot for it not to just end up being.
I was about to say, Binary's hot. You know, I'm always be pro Binary. You know, whenever Carol's in that mode, I'm with it. I support it.
Yeah, and I think they're about to merge and become that. So we'll see. The next issue looks like it's a. Which I didn't know this was still running on this long. A Axe tie-in, Judgment Day.
Everybody got an Axe tie-in, don't they? What would you rate this issue?
Honestly, I would give this issue. I would give this issue a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
A 4. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the moment between where Wanda
because it's magic.
talking about the stuff that far. But the magic has been having magic be a thwart for Carol has been fun. I will say people who are fans of magic should honestly read this series because there's a lot of magic in this. Like,
okay, it feels like every week you're telling me about Amora or Scarlet Witch or like Doctor Strange. Somebody's
a lot of
there.
magic. It's a lot more magic in this than I want, but it's still good. So if you like magic, you should definitely be reading Captain Marvel. But yeah, I would give this issue a 4 out of 5. We'll see if I'm gonna like the Axe tie-in. Look like her mama showing up. They're just gonna judge.
Carol's mama?
Yeah.
I was about to say I didn't know she had a mama, but I mean I guess by nature she would have a mama. I'm saying like I guess I've never like thought about stories with her and her mother.
So long story short, for the people who are interested in knowing, there was a series called, in my opinion, where you should start with Carol and her Captain Marvel era, called The Life and Times of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, whatever. It really brings up the fact that her mom was Kree. They basically kind of gave her like retcon, because before her mom was just like a white lady, but now they say that she was actually a Kree warrior, and that's where Carol got her powers. Like she's half Kree, and she's not just like
just some lady's daughter now. Okay.
Yeah. Her mom was in it. Her mom like died in her arm. She finally got to meet her.
That's always sad.
So
well, next up on our list is a new number one we had is Midnight Suns number 1, and that is written by Ethan Sachs with art from Luigi Zagaria, and it has colors from Antonio Fabela. Now, again, we were just talking about magic, the uprise of magic, and this continues that. It features a lot of characters who we know from all around the Marvel Universe. It starts out with Marie Laveau. We're at the Strange Academy with those kids, and they're on the way to the class being taught by Blade. He's telling them about vampires. We see Nico. We see magic in that costume of hers. I'm sorry, I do not enjoy it. I feel like the half armor look thing, I get why it's done, but I don't think it looks that good. And I even like kind of went back and I started looking at some of her other costumes that were similar to it, and I think it's the same for them. I think I only like it when it's just the armored arm, and that's holding the sword. Body. Yeah, I think like the like half leg, the like random hip piece, a random like piece on the elbow somewhere else. I just think it looks kind of awkward. And I get it was supposed to represent the armor like fully taking over her body and stuff like that, but whatever. Nonetheless, later on in the day in the school, the girl Zoe Laveau, she is a descendant of Marie Laveau. She has this vision that's basically saying she's going to wipe out all of humanity. She's got all this great power. She's the one, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, she was not the only person seeing this, but everybody in the magic community saw this vision. So the teachers of like Dr. Strange. I know, right? It's just like, oh, I
Every
thought
time
this
the
was.
Magic Black people, they all have like a
It's
connection.
like the equivalent of when you're at work and somebody sends an email to like one person, but it actually went to like everybody in the community, and then it was
Yes.
something bad. It's just like, ooh, this is messy.
Everybody got CC'd.
And so, the teachers go to Zoe and they're like, okay, hey, wait a second, let's try and do this. Magic immediately like teleports away because she has to go get Wolverine because Wolverine's involved in the mission. They have a nice little moment where she's like, I don't want to be involved in magic stuff, but she's like, well, you were there, so you got to come on. He's like, I hate it, which was like one of my small frustrations with him in this book. I don't think he's going to stay in it very long. I think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we got Wolverine on the cover for the first few
December.
issues, so we can sell it, and then probably by like arc 2 or 3, he's gonna be gone. But like a lot of times throughout the issue, because he's consistently saying, "Oh, I hate magic stuff. This is why nobody wants to deal with magic users. We don't want to be around magic." It's like, boys, then leave.
I'm at
You
to tap in.
you getting on
he's
my
speaking for
nerves.
he's speaking for me.
And so while they do that, try and go get Zoe, these demons attack, and these were some of the same demons that we saw in the Vision. So the big fight breaks out. Of course, Agatha Harkness comes around. She takes Zoe away. We don't know where. The issue kind of ends with them saying, "Well, things can't get worse," but of course, everything gets worse because who shows up? Doctor Doom, and he's like, "Give me the girl."
Doom King.
Another person, like she's one of the people who saw the Vision. Kushala, who's the spirit writer, and she is like the one exception I might make to my no Ghost Rider rule because she's hot.
Always the girl.
um,
Yeah.
she was cool. So, they all get together and then that's going to go. So it looks like Zoe's going to be a big part of this. It was like really exciting. I think one of the first, so the only time I ever picked up Strange Academy was on two instances. The one was when I knew that Enchantress was going to be in it. And that's when I discovered she had two kids. And then the other issue was, I want to say it was like 13 or something, but this girl Zoe was on the cover. And I thought the cover was really dope. And that kind of like talked about her and her relationship to Marie Laveau and how she's a living zombie. She wears a trinket on her neck so her real form isn't revealed. One of the students rips the trinket off, and like everybody sees what she really looks like. It's a big deal because, of course, everybody just had this vision about her destroying the world, and then she looks like this. It's like, whoa. But it looks like she's going to be a big factor in it. I know something got released about Agatha Harkness having a new design, so we're going to see that debut in this book at some point as well. Um, it's magic stuff. It was
That's right.
cool.
That's why
Anyway,
she's young. It's a flashback to her.
yeah.
Or at least, or young, or looks like her MCU version. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
we're gonna be real honest. And then it's crazy because the outfit actually looks like an outfit that Cersei wears, but that's nice. I
Who?
can't know that. Anyways, you know who Cersei is. Please don't. Anyways, this issue I thought was like it was fun, it was cute. I think the storylines are like very straightforward with what's going on. I'm interested to see all the characters. I think there were some nice moments in between. We discovered that Nico has sent her staff into space for some reason, so she can't really do too much magic, but she learned like a few shield spells. Again, we see like a bunch of different magic users throughout the Marvel universe getting that vision. So I'm pretty sure we'll see a few more people pop in. It's always nice to see the big teaching staff at Strange Academy. Seeing Dr. Voodoo
What
has got
about
a lot of people I like.
was Wiccan? Not magic.
He's not magic. He's reality warping. He don't know no spells.
Right.
So
My fault.
yeah, he's not attuned to the arts like that. He don't get those flashes. They bring him in and he'd be like, I don't know if I should be here, but it's really only because Wanda was like, oh, we should bring him with us.
Not the nepotism.
That's really all it is. It's just magic nepotism because it's like, baby, he should not be here. But nonetheless,
She said, "Well,
it
my
was
son
real
gonna be
cool.
here."
Yeah. I would probably give the issue like a 3 out of 5. I thought it was like solid, straightforward. The art was fun. And
Okay.
you get to see the Magic Girls. I'm interested to see where it goes. I like the team. A lot of my favorites are showing out. It's magic. I think it's hot. I'm like glad to see the Midnight Suns brand continuing to expand and like form into other things. We know the game is also coming soon too. So mm,
Gotta cross that
I
brand. Have those that synergy.
love it. And Blade's at the forefront. So and then, all right, next up on the list is X-Men Red number 6, and that's from Al Ewing, Stefano Caselli, and Federico Blee was doing the colors. Now,
Talk about it.
before I even get into the issue, I don't think it's any secret how I feel about Al Ewing.
It's not. Not to
Okay.
me or anybody that listens to this show. It shouldn't be.
Have you ever seen that meme that goes across Twitter sometimes where it's like, if anybody got me, I know how Ewing got me?
Yes, I've seen that.
That is like so real. It's so like just true to life. And I feel like a lot of times when people read comic books, we kind of argue about whether we want story or feats. Do you want to see your character kind of going through something, or do you want to see them doing things? Do you want flashy panels to post, or do you want to have like a full type of journey happen in front of you? And X-Men #6 is my definition of a perfect comic because it blends the two extremely well. And it does so flawlessly that you just can't help but walk away with like some type of respect for almost every single character involved. And I think to do that with an ensemble cast of so many people and like the way that it was done, it was just fantastic all around. Really great comic book. He's a genius.
I I don't know what else to say. Like, I feel like I'm just repeating myself again with X-Men Red and just how truly like a great comic it is. Now, would I have preferred for it to have been Lorna instead of Magneto? Absolutely. But that's my own personal bias.
Well, you say that, but
Dying.
also I was about to say he died, so I don't know if you wanted that fully or he's going to die. But so this
I
issue
don't think
begins.
he's going to die.
You don't think so? They've been making such a
No.
big deal about it.
I feel like the death of Magneto would like we're gonna kill him off would be a bigger deal than Axe. Like,
I don't know.
like, let's be serious.
I
Like, I
feel like
think that like they,
I don't know. I feel like Act and Judgment Day is supposed to be like a big deal. It's the Avengers and the X-Men and the Eternals, and they're like Uranus. He killed his planet. I don't know. I think
and that
this
they
is,
could be resurrected. I don't know.
and he can
Resurrection's
be
not really
resurrected,
down.
and he
And
did
he
say
died
that
on
like
Earth. I
he
don't
did say that there are still ways for him to come back. I mean, even the other world death doesn't mean anything anymore. They fixed that too with the Siege Perilous and a few telepaths. So
see. I just
I
that's why
think
I feel like it would be a bigger deal. And with with Lorna appearing in Captain Marvel, I feel like she would be like, doing something after her father died, not like going to go save Rogue.
I don't know. I mean, Magneto loved Rogue,
That's a big about that.
but
That's bullshit. I just cannot get behind y'all. I'm sorry. That's
I don't know. I think Axe feels like a big day. And again, like you said, Resurrection is not down. There's still plenty of ways for him to come back. But I think, especially even in this issue, Magneto's story has kind of been about wanting to take a break and wanting to stop.
yes.
And like the battle's actually never over. There's never really any stopping. Like you always get roped into it. You always come back. And I think him dying in this way is his real only way to have that break. And it's like we kind of seen so many characters, I think also realizing that he needs to take a step back and do something else. He quit the council. They roped him back into the brotherhood. He's like trying to kind of stop with that, doing that stuff. Everyone's always playing their games, the politics of everything behind it. He's just like, I want to chill, but he is Magneto, the master of magnetism. They're never just going to let you chill. You're too
My
big of a
only
play.
fear is that they're gonna backslide him in like X-Men, as in he just joined the Brotherhood. So currently, visually right now, it is Magneto on the Brotherhood and Xavier with his X-Men, and they're on two planets. Like
Mhm.
I could see them going like a retro route and going they're at least feuding or something. I don't know. But I hope not. I personally would prefer Magneto just to retire. He should be in a big old castle on a rock like he was going to retire.
Yeah,
They
but
can
they
live in
won't let him
years.
do that. And that's why he got to die. That's the only way he's going to get that break. And you let him do that. And then if you want, you can bring him back from the heaven that his daughter created. It's very poetic.
It is very poetic. Yes.
And then
I
Lorna
don't know.
gets
I
to
guess we'll
step
see.
up. I don't know. I
True.
feel like him dying is a wonderful person.
It is. It is. It is. But I just feel that the only reason I feel like he isn't gonna die in this is I felt like the death of Magneto would be like a bigger deal. Not that I said I don't want him to die. It's just, I feel like it would be a big deal.
Okay, that's fair. But he does have his moments. We also finally meet the what are they? The Night Seat of Morocco, and we get a little bit of their
Yes, I think
history
that's
in a big data page, which was like kind of cool to me. And we meet SZA. She's skirting in the smoke. I thought
That's
that
funny.
was cute. But we see her, and then we get a little bit more history about the Night Ring and kind of like how they operated, how they were dismantled because of Genesis. And let me tell you something: the more I hear about Genesis, the more she seems like she was a nasty lady, and I don't think I would have
She
gotten
could have
along with
been.
her. She seems like,
She could have been.
um, and she was like really against the Night Table. They don't have Omegas. We also see a little bit of potential like family history here. It seems like the weaponless one who's been being friends with Magneto, he talks about his daughters, who it seems like is Cora of the Burning Heart, who we know very well from this book, and weaponless Zen over in Legion of X seems like the other daughter. So I
Her
think that's
daughters.
cute and fun. And it's like family time on a Rocco. I love a
Yeah.
family.
Do you think that these Araco mutants and the Araco characters are going to start to like be more prominent within the X-Men franchise? Maybe not more, but I mean like these.
Yes and no. I do think they'll continue to kind of get their history, their culture. We'll see characters like be created or pop up in these books. I don't know if I would ever see, or at least not yet. I don't see an Araco mutant being on the X,
Right.
if that makes
Actually,
sense.
the next follow up I was going to ask is like, because I don't even think any of them popped up in the current X-Men. Have they? Where they are like being actually discussed and talked about? Any of the like, I don't hear them talking about Aura Serrata or like,
Yeah, exactly. Like Krakoa is still very much like Krakoa. Araco still very much feels like a separate thing where it's like, okay, again, you see it like pop up in the other books, but it's like a backdrop. I think they're really trying to emphasize that like these are two different places and two different cultures. But I think that will also be a nice little thing to have like, oh, here's an ambassador of Araco joining the Krakoan X-Men team.
pretty cool.
It'll be fun. But it'll be interesting. I also think it will be interesting if we get to a place where we can have like an Araco book that features just like a team of Iraqi mutants.
Yeah. Getting to that point would make me feel like, oh, this is like
A
legit.
thing. That would actually be kind of interesting. And I know like X-Men Red is kind of like the quote unquote Araco book, but again, it's still very much through a Krakoan lens and like learning about them and doing that. I want to see a team that's like specifically just like Araco mutants. They don't actually interact with any Krakoans at all. We don't see them. We don't know them. Well, they know them, but it's not about
It's two separate books, like two separate,
them.
red and blue.
Yeah. Ooh. And the blue team was always hot.
I did think that the power feats in this were fantastic. I do like a feat. I can be a feat fan. Magneto keeping his blood flowing with the iron in his body. That's how he's keeping his heart pumping. His magnetic heart was really cool. Storm supercharging him. I love when they use real science to
Yeah.
with powers and stuff, and their powers are attuned to each other. And I do think that the fight is mentioned. Magneto talks about like our powers are. I'm sorry, Storm says that their powers are in tune. I think Uncanny and like one that, and they fought, and his magnetic powers would get stronger with her lightning blast, and that's because like kinetic charge, you can magnetic field. So, so I thought that was really cool that they had that in here, and they fought that like plastic like ape kaiju.
Yeah.
That was cool too, I guess.
Um, it was also like really cool just with like Magneto and his scenes with Sunspot and like just how I'm a fan of Sunspot. I like him as a character, but I love how they've really been emphasizing how he's kind of been like in the background playing his own little game. He is very much that character who's like, I'm not fighting on the front lines. Like I can do it if I really have to, but I'm the power player behind the scenes. He knows how to do that. He knows how to move. He is now a part of the Night Table. the table nobody, or the seat of nobody, which I think is like really cool for him. And I really enjoyed the moments with him and Magneto. I love when they talk about Headmaster Magneto and like remind people that he was also close with the New Mutants. They actually probably like him a little bit more than Xavier. So
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. That was their teacher.
you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I really enjoyed that. I like SZA. She's cool.
I love that you keep calling her.
We'll see what else she does. And I thought the shot at the end, like just with the whole brotherhood and like they're taking the fight to Uranus, was really
Is that
hot.
how you pronounce her name? That's not how you pronounce her name, right?
I think it's like Sizia. There's an
I like
extra Y in
SZA.
there. There's another Y in there somewhere, but it's not what you think.
What would you rate this issue?
Oh, 5 out of 5. Truly, like perfect comic book to me. Loved every bit of it.
Yeah, same. I would give this a 5 out of 5. When
Like the
Storm
whole
got to
team.
flying through and like dodging them lasers, all was living.
Yeah, like this, like again, in the way they managed to like weave in the history of Morocco and like into the story, I really enjoyed the stuff about the prisons with that NASA guy who's like living on the planet as well, and he talks about how Brand tells everybody, oh, they're aggressive and they're this and that, and he's like, I meet these people and they're cool, but I also like the way that they continue to put emphasis on how they technically don't need help, and like when they run away, it's like a retreat and just things of that nature. Yeah, like all that stuff is really cool to me. Learning about the kids in the prisons. Tarn was an evil man.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he
Yes,
comes
he
back.
was. He did. Like, and they don't do resurrection, so
Anyways, what would you rate it?
I also would give it a 5 out of 5.
Per.
No notes. Perfect book.
Excellent. And then moving on to our last book of the week, which follows up from this is Judgment Day #4, and that comes from Kieron Gillen and Valerio Schiti. And I did say that I kind of tapped out of Judgment Day. So please tell us what happened. I'll read it later.
Um, I mean, this wasn't as good as X-Men. Click down from there. This book, you see that everyone is going crazy because the Celestial has told everyone they're going to be getting their judgments, and the Eternals are talking about they have a plan now where they want to have Eros. Okay, they released him from prison. They want to have him use his powers to like on a bigger scale. They were going to use some machine to like make everyone's emotions good, so that Celestial reads them their judgments. Like, I just don't think that like the rebrand of this character like curls over very well for me. I would rather them just not even use them. Like, there are plenty of other of emotional manipulating characters you could have used, or some kind of telepath or something. I don't know, but I would rather you do that than trying to do this rebrand with him. Whatever it's going on. Again, we see everyone, humanity, kind of dealing with their judgments as well as all the heroes. We do get like little quick moments with the heroes to see if how they pass their judgment. Again, I thought that this was going to everyone being judged for their person and like their history, but everyone seems to kind of be actively tested rather than actually like looked at and judged. Like I believe someone uh Ms. Marvel Khan, someone sent a not someone the Celestial appeared in front of her as a Captain Marvel and tried to like attack her basically, like, you need to help me like escape and just come out. It's like, no, you're not the real Carol. Like, where is she? So she passed her test. But again, that to me feels like a test rather than like looking at her and judging her history. And Xavier got tested because David, his son, appeared and he didn't pay him any attention, and of course got the thumbs down.
Now hold
Yeah,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Because I saw some of those pages posted on Twitter, and I saw that one specifically. How are you going to come to him in a time of crisis where he's helping all these other people and be like, "Oh, I need to talk"? You were going to get ignored regardless. That's not fair.
like
This is not the
drug
time
charges.
for that.
Looks like you're gonna get the thumbs down too.
Like, come on now. Like, don't come on. When you see like what's going on, this man is going around judging people. These things are attacking us. These giant monsters are popping out of the ocean. Humans are picketing at our fence, and you coming up to me all sad, like I need to talk. You gotta wait an hour. I'm sorry.
That's his son.
Who's actually dead? Because Uranus killed him too.
Definitely getting the thumbs down. You are definitely not passing your judgment.
Like, come on now. If anything, actually, I'm pretty sure Xavier knew that that wasn't the real David, and he like saw the Celestial was playing games. He was like, I don't have time for this.
Fair. But other people who knew that, like Doom, the Celestial came in front of Doom and was like, I'm judging you. Doom was like, be serious. And he got a thumbs up.
Well,
sorry. Some people are just going to hell.
I feel like
was I don't know. They were talking about maybe releasing Uranus out of his prison because Druig, of course, still wants to win. The Eternals end up inviting the X-Men into the Unimind because they feel like they can use that against everyone and try to fight the Celestial back that way. Eros gets voted as Prime Eternal, and which I thought was like a choice. But Uranus ends up like breaking free, and he decides to like wreak havoc on everyone. He ends up fighting Storm and Magneto. They end up like coming back from Morocco. They fight, and Magneto ends up dying in the fight. Which again, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like a real thing. I think for some reason he's gonna be able to be resurrected. Maybe I'm just too used to resurrection and death not meaning anything.
I don't think it's a thing of a discussion of him not coming back. I think it'll be how long before they bring him back. But I think that'll be a point of the story. It's like, okay, we need to bring Magneto back now. And it's like, well, actually, he broke off from all of this because he was trying to have a break. Like maybe we should actually do that and like just let him like stay gone for a little bit. And then that'll be kind of the contention.
Put him at the back of the line.
Yeah.
We will get to him later.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see by probably the end of this what happens. Either way, they end up having Eros, because he's the Prime Eternal. He ends up talking to the Celestial, like, can we give us more time? Like, can it's like you don't have to kill everyone. Like, we are still like good people. Long story short, the Celestial says no. Thumbs down to everyone. He did. He thumbs down and said, no, it's over. And that's how it ends. Like,
oh.
Everyone's gonna die.
Oh.
And it ends with Captain America saying, we're going to die. So,
well,
issue number 5 comes out next week, and then 6 is also in. Or no, 6 is in October. So we'll see what ends up happening with.
Okay. Well, I still think Charles Xavier was set out, but I don't know. It sounds like it's fun.
I don't know. It's not really captivating. And then maybe because I'm just not that into the Eternal. They're a very big part.
Yeah. I can see that. I was about to say, this feels like an Eternals event. It feels like a good event for the Eternals. For sure.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I just don't really find them interesting. There are many sassy retorts. Percy makes not cutting it. So, I don't know. I give this issue a 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Solid, like, wasn't terrible.
All right.
Wasn't great. She was cute.
Well, those were the books of the week.
Yes, we're going to be taking a break from the book club this week. They wanted to catch up, but catch us next week where we read issues 40 through 43 of New X-Men.
That's for magic.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break and then we'll come right back.
Cool. everybody? Welcome back for another review, and we are discussing episode 5 of the sensational She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And this episode, we get the court case between one Miss Jennifer Waltz, aka She-Hulk, and she is being sued by Titania because Titania trademarked her name and she is using it as the name of her brand of skincare. And I know we talked about this a little bit beforehand. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the changes to Titania as like the influencer and like all this stuff, but I really, 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 really enjoyed Jamila Jamil in this role and what she's doing with the Titania here. The way she talks, the way she acts, the way she like is with the fans, how she's kind of like taunting She-Hulk in ways when she's in court, calling her like Shrek and things like that. I'm just like really liking it, and honestly, I've been thinking a lot about it and Titania as a whole, and I feel like the feud between Titania and She-Hulk, the feud between Titania and She-Hulk is iconic. Everybody knows that like that's the girl she fights. What they've done for this show, obviously, is like updated a lot of She-Hulk's storyline and plot points and like themes and all of that for a modern day audience. I don't know if the Titania from the comics would work in the same contrast as the way the show is presented.
Oh, okay.
I think Titania. I wasn't gonna say anything bad, but I would like to see them like still fight a little bit. Obviously, like we saw that Titania has like some super strength that's been like her thing. She's an super celebrity, and I would like to still see them tussle a little bit. But I like the fact that this is the role she plays as opposed to what we know of Mary in the comics, so like with the criminal past and all of that stuff. I do hope she still meets a Crusher Creel though, because they're cute.
I know. I do want her. You know, I love them as a couple.
Yeah.
I love a ride or die. I actually agree with you here. I'm a big fan of Titania as a villain, um, especially ever since Secret Wars, where she was introduced, and I love her and Crusher together. And I was worried about this because I'm not the biggest fan of Jamila Jamil. I haven't really seen
She
without that. But I will say I actually really enjoyed her in this. Like I really liked what she was doing with Titania. I actually ended up enjoying influencer Titania. But like you said, the taunting with her and She-Hulk is so ingrained in their characters. They're always going to be the girls that clash. But I did like the way that they were kind of using the influencer version of that rather than they just scrap on site.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not sure if the synergy could work. I think it could if you don't make it a complete 180 turn, because I do feel like Titania being an influencer like would feel 180 if they did it that way. But if she decided to, I don't know, go quote unquote straight with something and try to get her own business, and then they could maybe work something there with her and She-Hulk have some classes.
It would be interesting. I mean, I don't think they would. I don't think they would. You know, She-Hulk's book is going on right now. Titania's a part of it. Her and Jen have kind of started their own little fight club. I do agree that going beauty influencer with her would feel like a very big 180, unless they like make that the point. Like, oh, these people grab Titania because like we just know she's pseudo famous because she fights She-Hulk, and we just want to make her the face. I think you'd have to show like some uncomfortableness in that for her though to really make it work. But I don't think they'll do that. I think she's one of the few who the synergy might miss.
Could. I don't know. It don't seem like too many.
I was about to say, I was like trying to sit here and think. I was like, wait, who's actually been missed? And I was like, I can't think of anybody. I was like, I don't know actually. So we'll see. I guess we'll just wait till it happens.
Yeah, that would be maybe fun. Maybe Titania just randomly comes out with some product or something in 616, and I don't know. They could give her the same personality she has in.
I would say, if anything, what they might do, they might pull a Tessa Thompson and just like create the character with a different name.
They could totally do that.
Yeah.
They gave her like a Titania, like gave her a sidekick, and that girl was an influencer.
A new Titania, you know, Mary's retired, she's the super villain. Okay, now here we go. And then her thing could be she actually trademarked Titania. And now She-Hulk. And Jen's got to sue her.
That'd be hot. We be giving ideas.
Okay, period.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, I thought the episode was really fun. I've been in this feels like a show to me. Like
Yeah, I've
it
seen some
doesn't feel like
complaints
a movie.
about. Yeah, I've seen some complaints about people wanting a little bit more action. They're saying that this is still a superhero show. They want to have powers and everything like that. But I don't know. It's something about She-Hulk. Yes, super She-Hulk does superhero stuff. She has the strength and all of that. But like at the heart of her character, she's always been kind of a lawyer, just getting the zany adventures. And I I guess I never expected this to feel like a superhero show. I expected it to feel like a comedy with
Yeah.
a superhero. And so I was never really expecting there to be too much fighting and things like that. And I think the things that we get are enough for what we see of Jen's life right now. Again, she is kind of just getting into the hang of being a She-Hulk. Her whole thing is that she wants to be a lawyer. She wants to have be successful in something else other than superheroics. The fights are just happenstance.
I've always kind of seen She-Hulk's like superhero ness
Mhm.
as something that was like tied to her being an Avenger. And by that I mean like she's there to help out because yes, I am strong. Yes, I have these powers, so I do want to help. Um and like I'll be a part of this team. But the She-Hulkness is like not being a superhero. She's not
Yeah.
is that the person
She's
I'm
only a
thinking
She-Hulk because she likes being She-Hulk. She's hot, which that bad man in court said it. When the girl asked Mallory Book. Shout out to Mallory Book also. First of all, really like right quick. She is killing it, and she looks good with her little
of.
business
Listen,
bob and her dresses, and she's walking around
you saw her lawyer Bob? Okay. Then when she
eating,
had a different one
eating.
on where it was asymmetrical cut, she had that's her Esquire Bob.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Period. Yeah, she looked really good. It
Yes.
was like really cool to see her. I also enjoyed the like extra emphasis on Pug and Nikki in this episode. I think kind of fleshing out her side characters was really nice. I don't know. Pug was putting on this little black scent every now and again, and I was like, I'm gonna need him to slow it down. But like
Are they both a part of She-Hulk's like, supporting cast?
Pug is, I can't. Nikki is not. There is a girl who like used to hang around with Jen. Her name was Wheezy though. But Pug is a part of the comics, and he was like a big part of the law firm. He actually was like fell in love with Jen for a little while. His whole thing is that he is kind of a himbo, and so that's why
Yeah, he kind of looks
when it was
weird.
all going on, I was like, okay, I get what they're going for, but I was like, let's move on. But I also like the whole aspect of them trying to get the suits for Jen and find somebody who could do it and like make all of that stuff work. I thought that was really cute to see. And then we got back to Mallory, and she was just looking great.
Yeah. I do have to go ahead and say that a lot of what happens in these court scenes is not accurate. So like, don't think
Well, you
it's fun
know,
though.
I think the writer said that they like determined they could not write good court scenes, so that's why they.
And that's totally
That's
fine.
what,
I'd rather you do this than
yeah,
and you make it work for your story than try to force it to be real.
it was cute though. They're working. I'm excited. I like the little tease we saw of the Daredevil mask to know that he is out and about, hanging out somewhere. We're going to see him soon. Very excited. Again, I'm glad that these are a longer series than the rest of it.
Yeah. Do you like Luke Jacobson, the superhero outfit man who's
I
giving,
do.
Edna Mode from the
I do.
Incredibles?
I enjoy it, and I enjoy his place, and I enjoy the aspect of all the superheroes finding somebody who's going to make their suits, and then he kind of does it. I think that's an interesting thing that happens in superhero comics, like when the whole community has like that secret person, kind of like the night nurse thing, how they
Yes.
do. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, everybody just can go to her because she's cool and she's down. I appreciate that
I do like that.
because that should be real.
I agree. I like when they have like a tailor. They even had that
Hmm.
in Invincible, where the guy was the one who made everybody's suits. That's who
Hmm.
you go to, get your measurements and all that. I do like that.
I usually like when it's a person who used to be a superhero or like has superhero like connections, and they just like, oh, I just don't want to do this. But I do
Especially
this for
Jenny
y'all.
Wasp.
Yeah.
She's a designer. Like,
Well, she does design some of their suits sometimes.
but I felt like once we got to a point where like, the older characters were being phased into the new status quo, it's kind of with like Luke Cage becoming a mayor.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
should
she
be
should just become.
the person who make all their suits.
I could see that. That would be cool for her. I
And
like
she
Wasp sometimes.
that would give her like a little lane, and she would still be like important.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like they kind of did her dirty. But anyway, not about Wasp. I think that She-Hulk is a fantastic show. I ended up liking Titania a lot more than I thought I was
Mhm.
going to. And
Agreed.
I I'm gonna keep watching. I like what I'm seeing. I wish there was no after credit scene with this.
No, there wasn't, which was a little disappointing, but still we move.
I've been liking all those like fun little things.
Agreed. It's a really good show. I'm really into it. I'm interested to see kind of how they do it. Like obviously we're kind of doing like this
Oh,
comedy. What?
so I'm looking at the writers for the upcoming episodes,
Uh-huh.
and Zeb Wells is right. He wrote episode 7.
Oh wow. Shout out to him.
And Ziegler, who I talked about earlier, who will be writing the Spider-Man Miles Morales, he wrote episode 8.
Period. That's the girls we work at.
So
Oh, those
they really are reaching out to the comic book writers to like write episodes of the show.
that means that's gonna be good episodes too.
Yeah. Oh, and that's 7 and 8 too. So that's like
Those are like the
man.
pinnacles of getting. That's what we get. That's the 4 and 5 right there. But
Yeah.
no, and that's what I'm excited to see.
Clears. I might want him to do like the New Mutants TV show.
Mm, okay.
Didn't people like his New Mutants run?
It was good. I liked it. He had powerless Danny. She was kicking butt. That's the one where she did the arrow with her feet. Hot moment.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be interesting for She-Hulk to see how they finish it off and then find a way to integrate it into the. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to integrate it into the rest of the MCU. Obviously, she's practicing a superhuman law, but with that, like, if someone will come and meet her, someone will come and see her, if she really like takes that move to join the Avengers, kind of. If we ramp up by the end of it more of the superhero aspect, or if we just kind of keep this show in this realm of like the comedy law series, and then maybe when the movies or something pop up, that's the only time she gets involved.
Now that we are at this midway point, are you expecting a season 2 where they continue something like that, or
I would
She-Hulk antic?
I would like it. I think Jen has enough story that it can be done, and I think her story has gone in enough roots, or excuse me, has enough roots that she can go like in a few different ways. Like she's been an agent of Shield. If you want to kind of get like some of that stuff, she's done like cosmic stuff. She's done other universe stuff. She's been put on trial. Like they've always really managed a way to put Jen in her own spot. Again, you could even go from the Charles Soule run when she started her own practice.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. I would also like to see Hellcat make an appearance in some form or
Oh,
fashion.
was that her homegirl?
That's her best friend.
Maybe. Do you want the same actress from?
I
Was it
didn't
Jessica Jones show?
mind. Yeah, I didn't mind Rachel Taylor as Hellcat. I feel like Trish, as she was called, was a nice little spin, and I felt like she got some of the stuff like Patsy's relationship with her nasty mommy, and getting her powers and things like that. But if they did recast, I wouldn't be that upset about it. Honestly, the only two people who I really want to kind of be recast from all of those Netflix shows, well, I have three people: Iron Fist, Elektra. Actually, I don't want Elektra recast. I just don't want to see Elektra again. But it's Iron Fist
Yes.
and Misty Knight. I did not like
I disagree with the second one. I'm totally fine with a recast, but homegirl's coming, so accept that.
them. That's fine. I thought Elodie Young was a good Elektra. I just don't like Elektra. But Simone Mystic as Misty Knight, I would like to be recast. Danny Rand. If we don't even have to do Danny, we could just do Lynn now that he's the new Iron Fist again. And Rachel Taylor, I liked her, but everybody else from Netflix, it's kind of like except for Charlie Cox and Kristen
Well,
Ritter. I think
clearly.
she's a really, I think she's a good Jessica Jones too, and Mike Colter was actually a good Luke Cage. Those three are really the only three I think who are like necessary to come back.
Yeah. I wonder if they got the calls,
I think Kristen Ritter did.
but everybody else they still waiting on.
I think Mike Colter was kind of touch and go. I think it would be nice if he did come back. I think he was a good Luke Cage. Um, but he's also doing like other stuff, so he might not even have the time. Kristen Ritter, I know she had like taken a little break because she had gotten pregnant, and but like Jessica Jones was just a really popular show, and people really liked her in that role. She is honestly up there with Charlie Cox.
Wow. Do you feel like he has elevated the character? There was a debate on the internet the other day about Charlie Cox elevating Daredevil to like a bigger,
Um,
like now he's an A-list
no,
character. Before Charlie, he wasn't.
no. I feel like Daredevil's always been an A-list character. I just think that that last movie we got with that man wasn't that good. And I feel like I'm sorry, Charlie Cox is it. That's why he got. That's why he got to come back. Like, what do you mean?
Right. And I mean, say what you will about how you personally feel about the content, but that Frank Miller era of Daredevil like changed comic books. So
And like the Netflix show was hot. Like the hallway scene, it changed cinema. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Please let us know what you guys think about She-Hulk. You know, midway mark now, so we'll be.
Yeah, it's almost done.
Yeah. Um. Oh damn. You think is Daredevil coming next episode? I figured he was gonna
He
come back.
better. I know, but we saw his mask, so probably yeah.
All right. Well, please rate and subscribe us wherever you get your podcast. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Another Relaunch. You can find us on YouTube if you want to watch at Another Relaunch TV. You can find me on most social media platforms at Uncanny LZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You guys know you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Keena Lance. As always, there's an underscore at there.
All right, y'all. Let's get up out of here and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.
Out.